Hey folks, so I want to move on. Now, after you've finished your skin smoothing, the next logical step is going to be doing a little bit of light shaping, or in other words, a little bit of dodge and burn to your image. So I've got a new image down here, which I'd rather use, and that's because this image, unlike the image we were using originally, was shot with natural light. And so whenever you're shooting with natural light, you may not necessarily be as lucky with light shaping in camera, and you may have to do a little bit of light shaping in post-production. So we'll go ahead and we'll start our dodge and burn process. And so if you know anything about dodge and burn, you know that when you brighten areas or you dodge them, you bring them closer to camera. And when you burn areas or you darken them, you push them away from camera. And so if you have anything that you want to highlight about your model, you want to bring those forward. And then if you want to darken anything or diminish the visibility of anything, you're going to darken those areas or you're going to burn those areas. So coincidentally, I'm going to use the default dodge and burn tools that already come in the adjustment brush when you open up Lightroom for the first time. So those can be found in, I think it's dodge, lighten here, and burn, darken here. And it actually just gives you a hint as to what it's going to be doing there. So we'll go and we'll start off with our dodge lighten tool. And if you look over here in the settings bar, you can see that the only thing that was changed was the exposure. Well, I want to just take it a little bit further than 25. I want to do 55 increased exposure, but the thing that I'm going to do to protect myself about going overboard is I'm only going to be using a very low flow for this example. So we'll go ahead, and the only thing we are changing is the exposure slider for this tool. And I'll go ahead and get started. So what I want to do is I want to just start shaping the light by brightening specific areas, and I'm going to be changing around my brush size as I do it, going in here and getting rid of specific little areas that I may want to give the illusion of moving forward or brightening just a bit. And as I'm doing this, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about my skin dodge and burn class about skin retouching in Photoshop, which I have as well, only through Kelbyone. So if you're really interested in skin retouching and beauty retouching, I would highly recommend you going and checking out that class as well, because I dive probably 100 times deeper into this concept. I really dive into the why of dodge and burn a lot more in that class, and I talk about color shift that can happen when dodging and burning in that class. I just talk about a lot of the problems that people have and explain, the reasoning behind doing some of this to your images, light shaping in general. So I'm just going to get in here in this specific line and see if I can brighten up this line a little bit. All right, now maybe using a little bit of a broader brush to brighten up this cheek. Then bringing a little bit more of this brightening effect over to this side. Maybe doing a little bit on the forehead there. And then there does seem to be a little bit of a ridge right here below her bottom lip, so maybe we can brighten that. Get rid of that a little bit. All right, and that looks about right. That seems to be good. I like the way that looks. So now we'll go ahead and hit return to accept the changes of the dodging portion. And now we'll come over to our effects slider and we'll choose the burn tool instead, so we can move on to darkening other areas. So now we've got our burn tool activated. We'll make the brush a little bit bigger and just do some broad strokes so that we can darken certain areas and really push them back away from camera a little bit. we'll come here to the bridge of the nose, and what I want to do is just pronounce the bridge of the nose a little bit so that it gives a little bit more shape to the nose that we already have. And then really simply, we're going to go in and just dodge the darker area of the chin. And I am seeing a little bit of a color shift here from the regular color that it originally was to now a darker grayish color. So because I'm seeing that, it's very easily changeable, and it's very simple for me to mitigate that issue by just coming over here and actually adding just a slight color overlay that's going to be the opposite of this blue-gray color that I'm seeing here. So maybe we'll go over to a slight orange tinge that we're adding to our burn brush, which is going to bring back that natural color of the skin as it originally was. So if I go down to 0%, you can see how the skin here looks a little bit gray and blue. But as soon as I add just 10 to 15% red-orange of a color overlay, or maybe 20%, you can see that that color, it stays consistent between the highlight areas and the shadow areas, which is definitely what you want. So there we go. I'm happy with that now. I've gone ahead and hit the return key so that I have accepted the changes for the adjustment brush. And then let's go ahead and just click the on and off light switch to see what we've done. I think that that looks pretty fantastic for the short amount of time that we did this. Hit the H key to hide your access points, and then just hit on and off just on that light switch to show the before and after. What do you guys think? It's a pretty awesome effect, huh? In a very short period of time. So this is a very advanced technique that I'm teaching you, which originated in Photoshop, but I'm just taking that same exact technique and taking it into Lightroom so that you guys can use it too and really make your images shine and show that light shaping and show that dodge and burn effect really easily.